And we're live. Hey Farooq. According to Ashik in the chat, he's here already. He says, long time no see. Um, it was a good circumstance that we met, I think, last time, just after the group stages, and that we had all of our teams that we supported in the World Cup still in the group. And now things have changed. Most of our teams that we supported have gone out, and we're left with France and Argentina. How are you feeling?
I mean, Croatia is still there though, so Croatia is still playing for the third place. So I mean, that's something. Although it's just for third place, but yeah, Croatia is still there. Let's not take that away. Yeah, Ashik is right. Long time no see, long time no see. Like as you said, like it's. I think yeah, we missed the previews of the semis. Yeah, and we're here for the finals. I mean, it's been kind of up and down, honestly. You know, I really wanted Brazil to move on, but because of the showdown with Brazil and Argentina, in the semis will have been epic. The greatest matchup, the greatest South American derby. I would say it would have been nice, honestly. But yeah, it is what it is. So that's that. And then yeah, I know France did what France did. So I mean, for me, as long as England did not proceed, I really didn't care who won. So France did for that for me. So yeah, I would say, yeah, overall, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. And then the Cinderella story of Morocco as well, not to forget that. So it's been a good couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was thinking you were shouting so much praise on Croatia and talking about Brazil, but then like we couldn't hear the happiness in your voice about Morocco.
As I told you earlier, like honestly, like I'm about to lose my voice a bit, but honestly, like the game with Morocco, like the game against Portugal, like honestly, it was a really, really, I mean, it was a really emotional game for me personally because like it's something that we've waited for a long time. Because like you can ask anyone, like they know that Africans are crazy about football, especially when you go to West Africa. That's literally our primary sport. That's the only thing we do. And like we go to every tournament and it's disappointment after disappointment. And honestly, even I think if we can go back to the previews as well of the whole World Cup thing we did, I never give Morocco a chance, honestly. I really never gave Morocco a chance. And, with the new coach, Walid Raghoubi, I think I did not butcher his name. Like it was something. So, like finally seeing it happen, like it was a very surreal moment. It was a moment that you just, I mean, we've always expected it to be, I don't know, the likes of Cameroon, the likes of Nigeria, Senegal, Egypt, Algeria, but never have I ever thought it's gonna be Morocco, honestly. But yeah, credit where it's due, man. Really, like the Moroccan team is something I'll say. It's a joy to watch them, honest.
Absolutely. Like you said, we forgot to cover the previews for the quarterfinals. So let's head right into the breakdown of the semis. So what happened, and then later move on to the preview of the final. So, for which game do you want to discuss first, Farooq? The Morocco game sounds good to you.
I think firstly let's discuss the snooze fest, which was the Argentina Croatia game. I mean, sorry, Doris, but I call it a snooze fest because literally it was a snooze fest. Honestly, like I really was looking forward because, like, for me, honestly, like I wanted like Croatia to win because of Doris, obviously. Well, as I said to you earlier, like as long as England was not in the semi-finals, I really didn't care who won any game. You understand? I was just there for the entertainment. Go there, watch good football, enjoy it, be on the edge of your seat. I don't know, go to penalties, extra time. Not even necessarily just have a good game of football. You understand? Well, unfortunately, like Croatia let me down, honestly. Like the team Croatia had always done best, which was always, control the midfield of the games. Honestly, like, Rodrigo De Paul, Enzo Fernandez, sorry, and Alexis McAllister really, really came into this game, in my opinion. And especially, I was mostly impressed about Rodrigo De Paul because uh, in the past, I've actually literally criticized Argentina for being a 10 plus 1 team. And I've actually especially mentioned, name checked Rodrigo De Paul, actually called him out a couple of times. So yeah, actually, in my opinion, he rose to the occasion exceptionally because if there's anything that, as Zlatko Dalic also said, the coach of Croatia, like we have the best midfield in the world, the trio, Brozovic, Modric, and Kovacic. I mean, I wouldn't, I mean, arguably, or even if it's not it, but like they have a very good shot for being the best midfielder at the World Cup. So I feel like they couldn't do what they did best, which was win the battle in the midfield, honestly. And I don't know, man. Let's just ask you this. What's your take? The first PK on Alvarez, you know, was it a PK or no PK? The one with Livakovic.
I mean, even though I'm like a big anti-Messi guy and anti-Argentina, I would say that does not hamper my decision making out like my opinion on this. Like it's clearly not a pen for me, at least. He just runs into the goalie and then it's just an unfortunate situation.
But
Were you?
that's the thing, Jacob, right? So the thing now becomes this, right? I totally get your point, and that's also the sentiment I share there. Like the only way Livakovic escapes that is if he disappears. If he becomes a magician and literally disappears out of nothing. That's the only way, he can avoid the clash with what's it called? With Alvarez. But the question now becomes this like, this is the rule of law. Contact is contact, impediment is impediment. You understand? It doesn't really matter, if he was there body checking him or if he was there, just taking him out, like literally cutting his feet into, that's the thing, honestly. Like, I don't know how, I don't know, man. Like, I just felt like it was a
Uh,
penalty that could have been given and could not have been given as well. You understand? So it was just a very, very 50-50 thing. And, I guess because of the game of that magnitude, you expect that you don't want it to be decided on such a petty, 50-50 situation, honestly.
I mean, yeah, so that shouldn't have decided the game, but from what we've seen of Croatia before in the quarters, like they are a team who can come back, who can
Definitely.
fight back for the ball. But it was, like you said, an absolute disappointment, and Argentina just ran right in the first half. Man, but it shouldn't take anything from the Argentina players. Like they were really clinical on the break, at least after the PK goal. They did create quality chances, which even though, like you mentioned, the Croatian midfield is like too die for, and Modric especially had like a really good performance, but they just couldn't create any sort of clear chances to threaten Argentina.
Exactly, man. Really, that's it, honestly. I really feel like the thing is just like honestly, like Brozovic and Luka Modric really are aged, and actually it showed. I felt in that game, honestly, like because I feel like if you check the game against Brazil, what they did very well was not give Lucas Paqueta, the opportunity to get on the ball. The point was that they took the ball and they were like, okay, Casemiro and Paqueta should chase. So because the point is, Neymar is playing as a 10, and you have Paqueta and Casemiro as the DMs, right? The two DMs. What literally Modric, and Brozovic did exceptionally well was that they didn't, try to lose the ball in the middle of the park. They literally dominated that space. Like they allowed, what can I say? They made these guys chase them around, both Paqueta and Casemiro. They allowed them to chase Modric, Brozovic, Kovacic around. You understand? And once you're that, I mean, you cannot catch Modric once he's doing that. Like you can just be chasing shadows. Honestly, you understand. But I felt like in the game against Argentina, I felt like that was one key difference, at least for me personally, that I saw. Was I felt like the midfield spaces were dominated by the likes of, as I said, Rodrigo De Paul, Alexis McAllister, and so on. And because I felt like it was a really, really strong team performance from Argentina. I think, I mean, obviously a 3-0 victory is going to be a dominant display in the semi-final, definitely. But I feel like it was like a statement victory from Argentina. And as you said, honestly, like take away nothing from Argentina. Honestly, they were clinical, especially Julian Alvarez. With the second goal, just coming in and smashing it into the empty post and and yeah, for two nil up, and it went to extra to halftime. Honestly, I feel like I don't know what happened, but I felt maybe like because the thing is, as you rightly said, Jacob, like Croatia is a team that can come back, right? But the point is, I think they conceded first in the 30th or 31st minutes, and then it was the 36th or the third. I mean, there was like around 5-6 minute difference between the two goals. You understand? So I feel like once you're conceding twice in quick succession, then it's gonna be difficult in my opinion. Honestly, like it's gonna be very very difficult to come back, especially against shit house masters like the Argentinians, man. I mean, Romero, Otamendi, Emiliano Martinez, and so on and so forth. Like these guys are the masters of shit house, man. They're not gonna. Although we've seen that the Dutch came back, but the Dutch also came back by going route one, which I think that was what Dalic wanted to do in the second half by throwing on Petkovic, but unfortunately, it still didn't work. So Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it was a good game for Argentines, but it was a snooze fest, honestly, for neutral fans, in my opinion.
Well, most in the stadium, like you should hear like the supporters in the stadium going wild every time Messi touches the ball because this is like the last chance to watch the maestro at play, and he had a really good performance as well. Uh, I mean, this is one tournament where Messi has really stamped his legacy on world football, and Cristiano Ronaldo just couldn't do that. So if you go on Twitter, like all of the Ronaldo fans are like really silent right now, and, and it's Messi fans are having their day, man.
So that's the thing, like people actually, that's the thing I actually find a bit bizarre is that, as you rightly pointed out, like this is a tournament that you cannot deny that Messi has stamped his legacy on. His footprint is all over this tournament. But the point is, earlier today we had so I don't know, but I know a lot of Turkish fans who are very, very, Cristiano fanatics, like very hardcore Cristiano fans. And we were talking, and you know what he was saying? He was saying, "Oh, Messi has 5 goals, but 3 of them were penalties." I'm like, okay, fine. Take it. Messi has 0 goals in this tournament, right? Let's assume Messi has 0 goals in this tournament. Have you seen the assist he gave Alvarez for the third goal against Croatia? Have you seen the pass to Enzo Fernandez against what's it called? Poland? The no-look pass? I mean, has he seen the goal against Mexico?
And not
Like,
to
I mean,
mention like all of the countless assists he should have had after passing to Lautaro Martinez.
to Lautaro Martinez, right? I mean, the game against Australia was a Messi masterclass, but they literally almost tarnished him because Martinez was garbage and it was just 10 plus 1. That Australian game was the one that actually, made me come up with the 10 plus 1 thing. It was literally Messi and 10 other players, man. You understand? Really, like when you check those games and you come and tell me, oh, Messi has 5 goals, but 3 of them are penalties. Like, man, I am a Madrid fan, but let's call a spade, man. That's just the thing. Like, you might not like him, but man, you have to give respect where it's due, man. Honestly, that's just the thing.
Yeah, yeah, right. That goal, like for me, like you can expect that from Messi, but judging from this Croatian defense, who have had a good performance so far this tournament, like that was surprisingly, couldn't catch Messi because Modric and everyone they're so experienced with dealing with Messi, and then they should have just put more men on that. But do you think like putting more men on Messi can help in this situation?
Ah, that's a question. We've been there, done this, man. I mean, where is the semi-final of against Real Madrid in 2012, man? No, 2011. Sorry, yeah, the semi-final against Real in 2011. Literally, there were 4 men around Messi, but he found a way to slot the ball past Iker here. So I mean, Messi will always do Messi things, man. Honestly, that's just it. Like, just Messi will always do Messi things, and honestly, like as you said rightly, like Messi is a man on a mission, man. I think this is I mean, irrespective of what happens in the final, and as I've also said in the group chat, honestly, I feel like Messi and Cristiano are people that don't have to prove jack shit to anyone. They are literally goats in their own rights. But I mean, as you rightly pointed out, whatever happens in the final, this is one that Messi has over Cristiano is that he has such a tournament whereby literally you can see that he is head and shoulders above every single player in the tournament. Head and shoulders. Because at the Copa you could say, oh, this was that. Really at the Copa, like Messi was good, but he wasn't this good, in my opinion at least. Maybe because I didn't watch all the games of the Copa, but I couldn't say. But really, like, wow, after the Saudi Arabian team, Messi changed into something else, honestly. Really, really, really like credit where it's due. Really, like, I don't know, man. It's a Real Madrid podcast, man. Let's not go too much on Messi. So let's.
I mean, I don't mind fangirling over Messi when he has like a performance such as this, but yeah, but I feel like one of the contributing factors is they did win Copa America, and there's a
Yeah,
huge weight lifted off his shoulders. So now Argentina fans are like more supportive of Messi. So I feel like he's getting less hate comments, and he feels more confident on the pitch too.
definitely, I totally agree with you. Actually, that's the thing, honestly. Like, when we watch even the games, when we watch the Argentina games with the guys, that's the one common thing everyone keeps pointing on is that Messi is playing with so much freedom now. Because the point is, he's finally won that tournament. He's finally won something for his country. So now the pressure, the burden, everything is lifted on him. He's playing like a man. I don't know, he's playing like a free man, a man with nothing to lose. And that's, as they always say, like a person who has nothing to lose is the most dangerous man out there. honestly. And I want to shout out right now, Lonius Scaloni, man. Honestly, that man, whatever he's doing, he should just keep doing it. I swear, like, because the point is, a lot of people actually just assume that Scaloni is just, a man manager or something similar to the way, like, everyone had with Zidane and what is and what is not. But if you actually follow what he's been doing, you can understand that this guy is not a man manager. If you can, at first he start with four-man defense, he switches to close out games, he switches to a three-man defense. He went against the great Max Tatish and Louis Van Gaal, and he mirrored his tactics. Although Van Gaal came back, with the route one thing by throwing in the big guys and crossing the ball. I mean, his in-game management, the way he's changing styles in-game, game to game change of styles. I mean, Di Maria is not even playing for Argentina right now, and that's a very very big call. He saw that Lautaro Martinez is not working. He changed it to Julian Alvarez. So I mean, credits has to be given where it's due. Honestly, like he's won the Copa, and right now he's in the final as well. So yeah. Really, that's it's credit where it's due. Honestly, like he's done a really really good job, because we've seen a lot of Argentinian teams with a much more talented players, much more talented player than this group of players, but they still could not gel together, to create a suitable platform for Messi. Like, and as we've said, like that platform led to Copa America, which even gave Messi much more freedom of play, man. So that's why we're here where we are today, honestly.
Absolutely. And like one more thing that stood out to me for Croatia's tournament so far was like all of the knockout stages, they went to the extra time, penalties, and that does take a toll in the end, especially with the
Definitely.
defense, and you just can't stay focused for that long in the tournament. Like last World Cup, like it was absolutely pushing it, and again we have almost the same group of core players with even tired legs handling this
Yeah.
tournament, and we saw how teams can, really capitalize on that. But however, like, did you think Argentina had a lot of rotation options as well? Because they have been playing pretty much the same standard 11.
You're
And
right. That's very true, actually. But that's what I said. Like, honestly, I feel like Enzo Fernandez has been good in the midfield, but in my opinion, Rodrigo De Paul has been garbage. You understand? So he hasn't exerted himself that much, in my opinion. So he was due such a performance. He was due such a performance. And when you check in the defense of Argentina as well, like they have Romero, Otamendi, and Martinez. So they rotate between these three players. And also when you check Acuna and Tagliafico, also they also switch around as well. So I mean, Messi is the one for sure, and then you see Lautaro Martinez and what's he called, and
Alvarez.
Julian Alvarez also rotate around, and that's the good thing actually. Like, whether you like Martinez or not, or whether you like Alvarez or not, one thing you can never take away from them is that they're also very good pressers. They are, they start the press at the front. They are very, very good pressers, like pressing players as well. So, and when you see Alvarez, he's so young, he's so full of energy, so he's able to, run up and down for 90 minutes. And honestly, I have been so thrilled with Enzo Fernandez at this World Cup as well. Really, really, honestly. I'm really, really thrilled with his performances at the World Cup. I mean, he's a player to watch out for on the side here. He's a star in the making. So yeah, I think the thing is that the engine room for Croatia actually is really, really, let's use Sunait's word, like, doesn't have the legs anymore. Normally they have the legs, but when you're going back to back, 90, 120 penalties, it takes a lot of toll on a 38-year-old Luka Modric. And I think Marcelo Brozovic is like 33 or something like that as well. I'm not sure. So it takes a lot of toll on these guys, actually, honestly. Honestly. And like Dejan Lovren is no spring chicken either as well. So it's like a team full of, veterans, honestly. The likes of Ivan Perisic and all that, they're all veterans. So like it's not easy, like, to do this. But honestly, shout out to Croatia, honestly, like really, really, really. I think it's a country of 3 million people, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. I mean, back to back semi-finals at the World Cup. It's no mean feat, man. It's no mean feat, honestly. It's no mean feat at all. So, credit where credit is due, man.
Yeah, you said it all. And do you have any other notes for that Argentina and Croatia game? Otherwise, we can move on and then, stop drooling over Messi.
I just want to drill on Emi Martinez as well.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but Emi Martinez actually was once upon a time at Arsenal. And like, he joined Arsenal, I think at the age of 16 or 17. And he had the story of where like his his family were crying like for him not to go, like they were begging him to stay, not go. But he was actually saying like the point is he used to, he used to, peek through the door and sees dad crying in the middle of the night because he could not pay the bills and could not put bread on the table. So he had to do this for his family. But it wasn't all rosy for him as well. He went to England. He found it difficult to play for Arsenal. They sent him to the fourth division. He came back, and even Berlin was injured for a while. He was the keeper. He took them to the FA Cup victory, and Beno came back and they still ousted him. And he he had to go to Aston Villa before actually he could establish himself. And kudos to him, man. He went to Aston Villa. He now holds the record for the most clean sheet in the club history, 15 clean sheets in his first, Premier League season at Aston Villa. That led to a call up to Argentina. Sergio Romero was the first choice for Argentina, undisputed. And Sergio Romero is something of a legend as well for Argentina. If you could remember, I was going back to 2014 World Cup with all the saves and like thereof as well. So it's been like that. And Emi Martinez coming, I think Romero was injured. He had issues with United. He wasn't playing, all that. And Romero just came. Emi Martinez came in. Took his chance, and the rest is history, man. Man's won the Copa America as arguably the best player on the team, which includes Messi, because like when you see the saves he made in the final against Brazil, when you take the penalty shootout against Colombia, like it was a really, 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 really good performance from Emi Martinez, honestly. And I feel like now he's just one game away from being a world champion as well. Honestly, I really, really like him as a showstopper, and he's a phenomenal player in my opinion. I mean, Emi Martinez is that player that the opponents don't like because he's a master of shithouse really as well. But he's a player you want on your team. That's just it. Like, I mean, those are the kind of players you want. The players that opponents hate to face. That's just it. But I mean, yeah, that's that will be my summary for the whole snow. Julian Alvarez, man, the man has 4 goals. The man has 4 goals. Manchester City bought him for, I think, 14, 50 million pounds, something within this range. How the hell did they find this player, man? What a player that guy is, man. Holy God.
Yeah,
I swear.
the first few games that he played for Man City, like I wasn't really sold on like why he costed 50 million. But like club actually I want to talk about this as well. Like club form doesn't matter at all when you come into tournaments like this, especially when you play for your country. You just turn into a beast, and not a lot of players can switch it on, but these Argentine players really know how to switch it on.
Actually, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if you're aware, but like Alvarez was playing for River Plate actually in the past before City got him, and he was like a sensational player, for River Plate. I think even in the past we were discussing with Smith and other guys about Alvarez, and like we were discussing how uh City's what's it called, Pep Guardiola's tactics might hinder his progress, because he's a striker, and we've seen how a lot of strikers might have a problem, flourishing in a system with Pep. But in my opinion, he might be the ideal player because I see Alvarez, and I don't know, maybe because he is young and hungry, but he presses a lot. But then one thing we can see with the goals he's scoring at the World Cup is this, that he also has that finishing instinct. He has that instinct of a poacher. That's one thing that, for example, let's take either Gabriel Jesus or Bobby Firmino. These are like also two prominent monster pressers as well in the Premier League. Both of these guys, you can see that like they don't have that killer instinct. Like, honestly, like as much as I love Bobby Firmino, I think he's one of the most complete strikers out there, but he doesn't have that killer instinct. Similar to Gabriel Jesus, they will hustle and puffle, have a good link up play and all that, but they don't have that killer instinct. Like these are players that can go on 10, 15 match goal scoring drought, but then you'll still see good performances for them. But I think with Alvarez, it might be a bit different. Like he might be the player who will press and press and press, and still, will still be able to get in the goals as well. I don't know, man, how City were able to get him for 14, 15 million is crazy, man, when we're paying 70, 80 for the likes of Hendricks and so on and so forth, man. I mean, that's such a bargain, honestly. Such a huge bargain.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. But let's see. Let's hope he can carry on his form and then doesn't turn into one of those Pep strikers.
Yep, that's true as well. That's true. Valid point, valid point.
All right. So we told a lot about Messi, and now it's time to troll about Kylian Mbappe, man. So there's a lot of there's a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
chatters saying, hey, like you've seen Messi with some good performances, but if you had to take like one player in transition who can wreak damage, would you take Mbappe or Messi?
Definitely. I mean, in transition, it's always going to be Mbappe over Messi for sure. I mean, that's what Mbappe does best, and no one can do that as much as he does it. I mean, in transition for sure. In transition for sure. Honestly, I will take Mbappe over Messi in transition. I mean,
Right.
if you're talking about just transition, sure, yeah.
Hmm. So what about I mean with the way France play, they're always in transition, man. Like they are able to play so deep only because of Mbappe. Like he can
I mean,
cover so much ground with just a long ball.
exactly, exactly. Like I mean, what France does, what Didier Deschamps does with France is very similar to what Carlo Ancelotti did with Real Madrid last year as well. You know, like you play such a deep low block, and you have a player such as Vinicius who literally can beat every single player on the planet. You know, in 1v1 situation. So I mean, that's the thing. You have, and then you have someone like Karim Benzema. You know, yeah. So that's the thing, honestly. Like, I mean, just you play to suit your what's it called? To suit the the the, the style of it. Because in national team football, you understand. So the thing is this, Jacob. While playing national team football, you don't have a lot of time to develop as tactics and what is not. That's why I felt a lot of people were very, excited about Italy and Mancini when they won the Euros because you could see like they were playing like a football club, not like a national team. But when you check, even when you look at Argentina's as well. You see, it's almost similar to a low block where you have just Messi and Alvarez just behind him, and literally everyone is just a low block and they're looking for that spring, just that one cross feed ball and what is not. I can understand that in international football because you don't have a lot of time to develop the tactics and what is not. But on the other hand, in club football, you literally play with these guys every day, every week. You understand? That's why I've always, been critical of the style that Carlo Ancelotti employs in the low block and hitting on the counter and just finding Kylian or finding Vinicius or finding or finding Rodrigo and something like that. But yeah, it is what it is. But I feel like France are playing exactly to the way that suits Mbappe the best, honestly.
Yeah. So before we head into like more details of the match, we know Karim Benzema was a big miss. And do you see Karim Benzema outperforming Giroud in this front setup? Because I feel like there are too many creators out there. Like Griezmann is one of those guys who drops deep. Mbappe drops deep, or he can play a lot, but he can't lead the line right that much as Giroud. And I feel like Benzema is more of the same type of player as Griezmann and Mbappe. So. Do you feel like this tournament was made for Giroud or Benzema?
Not just this tournament, this French team is made for Olivier Giroud. This French team led by Didier Deschamps is made for Olivier Giroud. Because honestly, like whether you like it or not, I mean, I'm a very, very big fan of Benzema. But the point is, Benzema played for France at the Euros and they exited at the quarterfinals. Giroud is there 2 tournaments, 2 World Cup finals. I mean, that's the thing. Like, obviously, he went in the World Cup finals 5 goals without any game. Sorry, 5 games without any goal in the World Cup in 2018. Sorry, 5 games, 0 goals. But anyone who watches football knows what Giroud brought to that French national team. You understand? But now he's in the goals. Now he has 4 goals, just one behind Messi and Kylian Mbappe. I actually genuinely feel like this team is tailor made for Olivier Giroud, honestly. And I feel like Karim Benzema was just only getting in because of I mean, it's just a situation where you have so many superstars and you can just leave. I mean, it's just the go kart and the F1 thing, like, I mean, I can't have an F1 and be going around with the go kart, man. Doesn't make sense. I mean, even if it means, even if it means I don't go far, but I'm gonna go with my F1 car, and so that's the thing. So yeah, I will totally say that. Yeah, I feel like this team is tailor made for Olivier Giroud, and I think Olivier Giroud fits this team better than Karim Benzema would have done.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, then why don't we head straight into the game? First thoughts. We know Morocco way outperformed their expectations for this tournament, and they are a solid team. And we saw something from Morocco in this game because their situation completely changed. They hadn't conceded an open play goal or any goal from the opposition until now, and suddenly they found themselves a goal down very early on in the match, and we saw something different from Morocco. Did you like what you saw?
Yeah, man. First things first, before we even, dive into all the analytics and what is not, really shout out to the Moroccan players. I just want to shout out both Agued and Roman Saez, the center backs, like because we saw like especially the captain Roman Saez, like we saw in the game against Spain that he literally could stand. we saw that he carried that knock into the game against Portugal and he still played through the injury. And we could see that even, I don't know if you're aware, but like even for the starting lineup, it was Sayes and Aguerd again for the semi-final. But before the game started, Aguerd could not, complete his warm-up. And then he had to be replaced. And then but Roman Sayes said, I'm gonna continue. And if you actually see the setup of the game, it was a five-man defense, three center backs. So I feel like Walid Regragui just actually wanted to protect his captain by flanking him with two other center backs, so at least he doesn't have to could be under that much pressure, at least, so he doesn't have to re-aggravate his injury. But that's the thing actually about this Moroccan players, like every single one of them plays with their sleeves on their heart. They leave nothing on the pitch. They leave no prisoners. You could see like even when you see the first goal, it was very, very uncharacteristic of Morocco. It was, I would say, a lap in defense or something like that. I don't know, but it was a very, very uncharacteristic goal to concede from Morocco, honestly. But yeah, it is what it is, honestly. And eventually Sayes had to come off and Amdallah came back in, which was a change of shape from, Regragui as well, which was a very, very brilliant move. And I mean, they went down, they went to go down in 5 minutes, and I was really, really curious to see how they would respond, honestly, because I felt like there's that. I mean, 5 minutes, it's so early in the game, and I mean, we've seen what Kylian Mbappe, Olivier Giroud, Karim Benzema, and Ousmane Dembele could do. Like it was a really, really scary moment. But I would say this: I felt that as soon as Sayes went off, that Amdallah came in, because when Amdallah came in, he just reinforced the midfield and became a 4-3-3 again. I felt honestly they had the number of Yusuf Fofana and Chouameni in the midfield. They definitely had the number of Yusuf Fofana and Chouameni in midfield. Because what happens is this. Okay, I'm going to talk about Greasy later because Greasy deserves a special mention. So, like, what happened was that Greasy was more of a number 10, and then Fofana and Chouameni were like a double pivot. Although, like, it's like, I don't know. They aren't exactly a double pivot, but I don't know how to quantify it. So I'm just going to leave it as a double pivot. So what actually these guys realized is this. Unai, Amdallah, and Sofiane Amrabat was that there is a space in there that we can exploit. We can outnumber these guys 3-2. You understand? And honestly, those guys, as much as they're very physical, they're also very technically good players, especially Unai. Honestly, they're very good players. And that's the thing, like, when you have players like, what's it called? Soufiane Boufal and Hakim Ziyech, these are players that you will bet on in every one-on-one challenge, man. Like for every 1v1, around 70% of the time, they're going to beat them, man. You understand? So you just have to break the ball away from the midfield and just throw it into the wings, and you can, you're almost likely going to get through and have a chance, honestly. And I felt, especially in the second half, actually, like, Morocco really turned the screw, honestly. Morocco really, really turned the screw. And I felt also like, although Giroud was, shadowing, I don't know if you noticed that, but Giroud was actually shadowing Amrabat in the game. And I feel that's the highest respect that Didier Deschamps could actually give to Soufiane Amrabat, because the man has been a monster this tournament, honestly. Because, we always had it the other way around, like the defensive midfielder is going to shadow the number 10 or the striker, but it's never been, I mean, for me at least, I haven't seen it being the other way around, where like literally Giroud was almost, following around Amrabat everywhere he went on the pitch. I mean, that's one of the highest level of respect you can ever get from Didier Deschamps and the French national team as well. Well, honestly, I feel like they just didn't have that, final finisher. Morocco didn't have that final finish, but honestly, they had French national team on the back foot for about 60 minutes of the game. I mean, not even on the back foot, on the edge of the cliff, honestly. They had, I mean, there was a sequence where Kylian Mbappe was actually evaded the fullback. I think it was Hakimi, I'm not sure who he evaded, but Amrabat came out of nowhere and literally just wiped Mbappe off of the surface of the earth. And when actually at first I thought it was a foul, but upon replay, and I was like, holy God, how did the ref see this? It was clean football, man. I mean, that should be the tournament, the tackle of the tournament, definitely. And honestly, man, I fell in love with these guys, man. Like with both Onai and Amrabat, honestly, really, really like fantastic players, honestly. Very, very fantastic. I really hope this World Cup serves as a platform for them to, go further forward. And honestly, I really felt exactly. So what I was saying about the game earlier about Croatia and Argentina is that we needed a game that we wanted excitement. Honestly, in the game with Morocco and France, there was excitement because you just felt like Morocco could come back. There was the signs, they were knocking on the door constantly. But that final touch wasn't going. I mean, There was one from, I think, was it Theo Hernandez or was it who was it that made almost a goal line clearance? I'm not sure. I think it wasn't Theo. Was it Kunde? I'm not sure. Someone made almost a goal line clearance, like,
Yeah.
and it was, yeah, Morocco is really, really unlucky against France, honestly, and but then that's the thing, honestly, like, irrespective of what happens, like, people will go home, with their head high, very proud of the performance they gave out against, world champions France. They literally almost took France uh, out of the World Cup, But then, as I said, that's just what happens, like we go, you play against France, and boom, they're in the back foot in the low block for 90 minutes, and in just a space of 30 seconds, Kolo Muani comes and scores. With literally his first touch of the game. So it is what it is. But then, yeah, my shout out to Greasy. Honestly, a lot of people talk about Mbappe and Giroud because they scored the goals. Valid. Like everywhere we're in the goal scoring business, no one wants to come and see a player that doesn't score goals, obviously. But Antoine Griezmann, in my opinion, has been the best French player at this World Cup. Honestly, he has
Wow,
delivered day in,
even over Mbappe.
even over Kylian Mbappe. He has delivered day in, day out. Because the point is this: go to the England game, Mbappe wasn't there. Even the game against Morocco, Mbappe wasn't there. Okay, he was there, but he wasn't really there. But Griezmann was there everywhere. I mean, there was a sequence where Griezmann was the person who started the press, and he was the person who was making a last-ditch tackle in the same sequence of play. In the same sequence of play. Honestly, like, I mean, we're always gonna, give credit to the players who score the goals and who score the goals and get the assists, as I said with Giroud and Kylian Mbappe. Well, I feel like, okay, maybe the wording is wrong, like saying the best player of the team. He's the player that makes the team tick. Maybe this might be the right word. Like, he's the heart of the team, honestly. And I mean, I don't know what's up with Atleti and Simeone and his players, but you look at the poll the day before, he was fantastic. You look at Griezmann, amazing baller. You look at João Felix, arguably the best player on the Portuguese team. And then you go to Atleti and, like, Rodrigo de Paul doesn't even play. João Felix is, I don't know, man, in no man's land. I mean, I don't know. Griezmann actually has played a bit for Atleti as well, but you look at these players with the national team, and they're different monsters, man. And so that brings the question here, like, what's up with Simeone and Atleti, and these players actually? So that's a question that needs to be asked, honestly.
I feel like this is a different version of Griezmann than what Simeone had to manage a few years back. Because before he was deployed maybe as a second striker, he had to like almost lead the line sometimes, or he played maybe as an inverted winger. But this is not the Griezmann that thrives. Now the Griezmann of today, he has a totally free role. He can drop in play, create chances, or even press high up and win the ball back. I feel like giving that freedom to this sort of player and then having so many players back in a different low block really helps Griezmann shine. And that's why we don't see that in Atletico at all. Like he just has to follow a rigid position, follow a rigid pressing style. He just can't express himself.
I mean, that can be, but then, I mean, you could literally say the same about João Felix as well. You could literally say the same about Rodrigo de Paul as well. I don't know. I think about the Paul thing, it's a bit weird because I feel like the Paul is an archetypical, Simeone player. Because even when you see the game against Croatia, like, you could tell that, like, yeah, the Paul is really, the kind of player who will literally, play for Simeone. But I don't know why it's not work for them. But, like, I mean, why I'm just pointing out this is that, like, these are phenomenal, like, I would say for Greasy, he's a world-class player. I mean, for Felix and DePaul, they can become world-class players as well. This is the thing actually, but I don't know, man. So it's been a very interesting World Cup, honestly. But then, yeah, it is what it is, man. What can we say? But yeah, the game France Morocco, it was a really good game. I loved it. Although, like, I really wanted Morocco to go through, but then it is what it is, honestly. Like, I am really proud of what they have achieved in the name of, the African continent, in the name of the Arab people as well. It's something to be really, really, really proud of, and it's something that generations will remember. Like, you go from Yassine Bono. Bono was actually born in Canada, like, but he moved back to what's it called? Uh, he moved back to Morocco when he was young. And I don't know if people know this, but Walid Regragui actually was born in France. He played, all of his football in France as well. No, not all, but most of his football in France as well. playing for the likes of Toulouse, Ajaccio, even he played for, Racing Santander in Spain as well. And yeah, and he went back. Also, he was a coach of a club in Morocco before he joined the national team. He actually won the African Champions League actually for Al Wydad in Morocco, actually being the second Moroccan to actually win it. So yeah, and yeah, so I mean that's the thing. Like when we say the name of Ragrabi, because we don't know it because we don't follow. We haven't followed his career, so it's actually like kind of someone who came out of the blue. But upon further, upon further, checking, upon further research, you can see like this man did not come out of the blue. Like he's someone who's won the African, Champions League with a club in his home country. So it means that there's something that's always been there. So yeah, and then you look at the likes of Unai playing in France, Amrabat with Fiorentina, Mazraoui, Bayern, Hakimi, born in Spain, Madrid, playing for PSG. The list goes on and on. Like Agard playing for West Ham, he literally just joined West Ham in the summer. Roman Sayes left Wolves in the summer, moved to Besiktas in Turkey. The name, you have Yusuf Enyesri, Hakim Ziyech, Sufyan Buffon. These are all interesting names, and yeah, it's really really when you sit down and scrutinize the team, you actually can see that this is a team that's actually a very very solid team. So hopefully, we hope they can take this momentum into the next African Cup of Nations and build upon it and hopefully give their people a title that they really really deserve on the back of this World Cup performance.
Exactly. And one more thing, it's like you mentioned these national teams, they don't have enough time to implement a proper system or even proper tactics. But if you look at Morocco, like they are very versatile. They can play into the opponents, and when I never expected Morocco to go out and attack France like that because I haven't seen it before, and they totally
Yeah,
surprised me. And they're so tactically versatile. They have really smart players. That begs the question, right? We saw a lot of good performances. Would you take maybe if you had to choose two players to play for Real Madrid, who would you choose from this Morocco team?
I would take Unai in the midfield, in the middle of the park. I really think there's a lot of future there. And for sure, man, our boy Hakimi for sure.
Yeah.
Ashraf for sure, man. But Unai is someone I really, really fell in love with, and I actually feel like he's someone who can really do a job for Real Madrid. Because I feel like Unai, in my opinion, is based on what I have seen, I think he's a level above the likes of Eduardo Camavinga. I think, in my opinion, so I think he can actually, I mean, if Camavinga can do a job, I believe that Unai for sure can do a job. So I think Unai is someone I will literally, literally look forward to seeing in Real Madrid. But yeah, the second person for sure, is Ashraf Hakimi, man.
Ah, so no Mazraoui. Did he have a good tournament from your?
Ajay actually was always being subbed off, honestly. But I wouldn't blame because also like logically, like Morocco actually funnels their attack from the right and just switches to the left to Buffon because Buffon has this ability to instantly beat someone. So Buffon is this kind of player that can beat people, but after that, don't expect him to make any decision. This is the downside of him. He can instantly beat the person. Once he get the ball, he will beat the person right in front of him. But then decision making is very poor. This is the thing actually. So I think that's what they always use Buffon for, like just to get this quick switch, beat the first person, and just give the ball back. So at least we can move that ball. I don't think they actually, because most of the times actually you could also see like Mazraoui actually was also subbed off a lot of times as well. Yeah. Well, I would say also it was a solid performance. It was a solid tournament from him, honestly. I mean, you wouldn't point to any Morocco player and actually, uh, castigate them honestly because it was a complete team performance. And actually, to your point about managers having to do less, having less time, and Morocco being this flexible. That's when you have a team that buys into a philosophy. When a team buys into a philosophy, it no longer becomes a team of we are like I mean, Hakim Ziyech is a very high profile player, like in this team, you understand? Hakimi is a very high, Ashraf is a very high profile player in this team. But you see the guys doing the dirty work, running back. I mean, there were instances where Ziyech was even behind Hakimi, doing his defensive duties, you understand? So this is the thing, man. Once everyone buys into this idea, man, into this single soul, unity idea. So it's really easy after that, honestly. It's the job of the coaches just to, lay out the tactics and they will try to implement it to the best of their knowledge, honestly.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing more and more Morocco games. And but let's come back to the match. And in the first half, especially, what did you think of our boy Xiaomeni?
In the first half, I think Tchouaméni was okay. In the first half, I think Tchouaméni was okay, but honestly, in the second half, I think they had his number. I definitely think they had his number in the second half because they literally ran ragged through the midfield. I mean, even in the first half, for the first 30 minutes, it was okay. After then, for the last 15 minutes, it wasn't. Because I think for about, I would say like around at least for 45 minutes in the game, like I mean, the last 15 minutes of the first half and the first 30 minutes of the second half, for sure, Morocco had France's number, at least for that 45 minutes period, in my opinion, maybe even more than that. For sure, like those guys had France's number, man. Like Chouameni, Yusuf Fofana, nope, nope. Honestly, they were really, really very top to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? If you look throughout this tournament, France have rotated a lot up front, maybe even defense, but the midfield it has always stayed the same. They never get subbed out. I think in the England game they used just two of their subs. Just that was just for the couple of forwards that they switched out. So this midfield has like a deep trust from Deschamps, and he's never going to change it out, no matter what the opponent plays and how the tactics are.
So that's the thing about Didier Deschamps as well. Like even if you could see, like even in the previous World Cup as well, his blueprint was there. You know, he was just playing Matuidi, Kante, and Pogba. Bring that off, play Sissoko. That's how it was going. You know, like he had this. He's that's why I just try to relate him to what's he called, to Carlo Ancelotti's style. I'm very sure most likely Didier Deschamps is also inspired by the style of play of Carlo as well. I'm very sure of that because they're very similar. Because as you rightly pointed out, he only makes these changes when he's forced to do them. Okay? For example, Konate came in because Upamecano wasn't able to play. Okay? Even Fofana came in because Rabiot wasn't able to play. You understand? So he's never gonna make a change like to how can I say, to shake things up, like wholesale changes to remove this and oh, it's not working, let's bring this out. No, he just has a couple of, I don't know, 11, 12, 13 players that he trusts, absolutely trusts, and he just sticks to them, irrespective of what happens or what doesn't happen, honestly. And what he also does is that, as you rightly pointed out, like he's gonna take off what's he called, Usman Dembele, and bring on Kingsley Coman, like for like replacement. But okay, credit where it's due though. Like he did take off Giroud to bring on what's he called, Lilian Thuram, which was one of the reasons why actually the goal actually came through as well. So yeah, so that was a bit of something different. But that's the thing. Like Didier Deschamps also is a very very stubborn coach when it comes to this, because I do remember even in the last World Cup, it was like they were like just around 9 players who were literally playing almost every game. So that's how it is. But I can also understand, it also goes back to what I said initially, like it's international football and these coaches have very less time to instill a lot of tactics and instructions and what is not. So they will take whatever they get, and so once they're able to stabilize one thing, they wouldn't want to change that too much as well.
And okay, let's take a couple of comments from Ashik. He's still here in the chat. So yeah, he did mention Bono was born in Montreal, baby, and he wants Hakimi to come home. He's our boy. He also
Exactly,
says,
man. That's it. I mean,
and yeah, Antoine Griezmann going to Barca was like a really big setback for his career, but then he redeemed himself and he showed its quality, man, in the end.
definitely. I mean, yeah. Shout out to Ashik, man. Like, really, hats out to you, man. You've been here all through. So yeah, Thanks for keeping us engaged as well.
Absolutely. So yeah, like nothing to really shout out about Choumeni in this game. He did have a few sequences, especially like when he carries the ball out, man. Like nobody can stop him. Like I always feel so nervous when he brings the ball out because he takes his pretty heavy touches, and then you feel like the defender is gonna get to the ball, but you just cannot shake him off the ball, man. Like it's
That's
insanely
true.
strong.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Uh,
true. He's really, really strong on the ball. There is no doubt about that. Like taking the ball for him is a bit difficult. Valid point. Valid point.
Yeah, but those must be like the only positives that I see. But when he does play in a low block, he just isn't as talented as Casemiro in blocking the lines and cutting out those passes. It is what it is. Let's hope he
Yeah,
continues
let's
to
see,
improve.
man. let's see how it goes, man. Like, really, it's gonna be a very interesting matchup in the final, I think, in the middle of the park. Let's see how it goes, man, really.
Right.
Let's
Before we head to that, do you want to discuss how good Mbappe was in creating the second goal?
Man, Kylian Mbappe, man, honestly. Like, I just go back to I remember, in after the game against what was the round of 16 match for
Poland.
France? Well, exactly. After the game against Poland, Javier was texting in the group that he knows that a lot of people don't like him, but we need to get Kylian. After seeing those moves, man, I'm like, wow, wow, honestly, like, and the point is the box was filled. It wasn't like the box, it wasn't like it was a counter attack or something. No, there were like five, six people in the box, man.
Yeah, when he started, I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?" Uh,
Honestly,
insane.
man, there's some players, honestly, like really, they're players that you literally would pay to go and watch, honestly. You play players that you literally would pay the big bucks to get and watch, and honestly, like those Kylian Mbappe is one of those players. I mean, there are very few of them, honestly, but really, Kylian Mbappe is one of those players. I swear to God, like, what the hell? But in my opinion, man, the second another person is Vinicius Junior. So I mean, I don't know, man. So it's just honestly, like really, but there's nothing we can say, man. Like
Hmm.
it's really really interesting to see what Kylian Mbappe can do. And the man is just 23, man. He's gonna be 24 2 days after the World Cup final. Imagine what a World Cup gift it will be. Honestly, it was a really really good piece of skill, and that's the thing, like that's actually I think what separates like the most elite players from the for example, like, can Usman Dembele do this? Yes, but will he do it? No. You get the point, right? So
Yeah.
because as you rightly said, right? So what your first reaction is that what the fuck is he doing, right? That's your first reaction as well. Well, that's the thing, that's what in my opinion at least, that's what separates the elite, the topmost players from those players who are just those that level below. Honestly, and I think on Kylian Mbappe, what we've seen with him so far, I just, I really do hope like he eventually gets. I mean, we're in Real Madrid channel. I'm gonna get a lot of food for that, but I really do hope he wins for Paris. Really, I really hope he wins for Paris, honestly,
Um,
because
yeah.
it's a place that it's his home where he was born. Where he was born and raised. So I really hope he wins for them, and eventually we can see how it goes. Well, speaking about that, if Kylian Mbappe wins a second World Cup right now, do you think that he's gonna shatter all the gold claims of Messi and Ronaldo?
I mean, not
Obviously not
okay.
now, not on Sunday, but I mean 5, 6, 7, 8 years to come. Because the point is, this someone who has two World Cups on the table. Imagine. I mean, he doesn't have to win 6, 7 Ballon d'Ors. He just has to win 2, 3 Ballon d'Ors, 2, 3 Champions Leagues, and he's a genuine bona fide, candidates to trash Messi and Cristiano's legacy. Well, what do you think? I don't know. I just
Just coming from a pure stats perspective, like I don't feel like Mbappe has that much longevity in him. He is very dependent on his pace and explosiveness. And if he loses that, I feel like his stats are gonna go down, even if he's gonna play at an elite level. So I feel like that record can never be shattered by Mbappe. But he has France. He has always played on like really good teams, PSG and maybe even Real Madrid in the future. And he is definitely going to win more Champions Leagues. He might win even more World Cups after this World Cup because France has that core to really take the next generation forward as well. So I certainly see him getting to that status of maybe Pele or Maradona. And a lot of people appreciate that over Messi and Ronaldo with just their pure stats.
yeah. And actually, that's the thing, like not all. I think although like people might point to 2014, but I feel like this is the World Cup that actually you can see like Messi had that Pele-esque performance on like that Maradona-esque performance. Even like I mean that even Ronaldo in 02, like that Ronaldo-esque performance or the Zidane in 98 performance. This is the first World Cup that Messi actually had that. And I think with all due respect, like I feel like Kylian Mbappe's World Cup legacy so far is greater than both Messi's and Ronaldo, in my opinion. Because I mean, if he wins it, that's what I'm saying. If he wins the second World Cup, because you could see the last performance at the last World Cup, being the first teenager to score in the final since Pele, and then now he has another 5 goals in the tournament. We don't know what's going to happen in the final or lack thereof. But I feel like this is a very good foundation for future gold claims. And as you're right, like I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna be, winning 5, 6, 7 Ballon d'Ors anytime soon. I don't think anyone's gonna be at the top of the game for 15, 20 years as Ronaldo and Messi have done, because we've seen both Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Kaká, all these players, Rivaldo's, all these players you want to mention, like they weren't at the top for 15, 20 years. No one is there. It's impossible to do, you understand? So, and as you pointed as well, like Kylian Mbappe is even in a more unique case because like he relies on his explosiveness, his physicality. This is something that we know will decline across time. So obviously we're not expecting that, but I just feel like this might be a background for a gold claim actually, a future gold claim actually, because if he's able to win 2 World Cup before he turns 24, and as you said, like he joins the likes of Real and or I don't know anywhere he joins, like and wins a couple of more Champions Leagues. But I think more importantly for his legacy would be what happens in Paris, because I don't know if you follow basketball, but like for LeBron James, for example, although he won 2 titles before he won a title with Cleveland, the title he won with Cleveland actually was what accelerated, or rather I would say elevated him to the current gold status that he enjoys like in the NBA. You understand? Because the point is that he won. Paris also doesn't have any Champions League. You understand? He won, and that's the thing. Like for Cleveland, like it was that LeBron won the first title in any sport for Cleveland. You understand? So that's the gravity of it. So imagine like a club as storied as Paris, having no trophy and like Kylian Mbappe leading them to the title. That will also boost his legacy as well a lot. So I feel like this might be, what's it called, a bedrock for an eventual, good claim in the future for Kylian Mbappe.
Mm. Although I would argue, like exactly to that point. So these are all stacked teams that Mbappe is playing for. It doesn't surprise anyone that they can win titles. But
Definitely.
Messi and Ronaldo, they have actually carried their national team forward for so many years. It's only now that other people have come to the fore, and they are picking up some of the slack. So I feel like that's a strong argument for Messi and Ronaldo, OG fans to remember.
Actually, no, that's the thing. Like, actually, I was the other day, just reminiscing about Cristiano, and I was just thinking, like, Cristiano never had a very good team in his prime. You know, honestly, Messi had some really good teams, like really, really good teams. Really, I mean, crazily, insanely stacked teams. But Ronaldo never had good teams in his prime. When he was very young, I think when he was 17, 18, 19, he had the Figos, the
Figo.
Simaos, Decos, those the Rui Costas, he had those guys. But when he became, imagine, can you go back and remember the team that Ronaldo won what's it called? The Euros with? It's Eder, you know? Eder, the guy who scored the goals. He was like I
Quaresma,
think it was exactly there was Quaresma, there was I think Helder Postiga, there was what's the name of this midfielders? Jao
Moutinho,
Mario.
Moutinho.
They were, like these are literally very bang average players, like a bit above average players, man. You know, and now you look at the players that Portugal has, like, and it's also the end of Cristiano as well. It's I just feel like it's very unfair to Cristiano and say like what's happened. At the beginning he had very good players, and at the end also he had very good players, but in his prime, when he was supposed to, do things, when he was scoring goals left, right, and center, there was no one supporting him. It's just so crazy. Like imagine the the Cancelos now, the Guerreros, the Bruno Fernandez, the Bernardo Silva. The crosses are gonna come in, the 1-2s are gonna be played, the counters that's gonna be made. I mean, I'm sure Ronaldo also will be reminiscing about this. Like, he wish he was like at least 5 years younger right now.
Fate is a cruel game. The
Exactly.
timing just wasn't right.
Exactly. Wasn't perfect. Yeah, you're right. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I guess we should go to the final, or do you wanna check out the chat if we have anyone? Or
No,
yeah.
Ashik agrees. LeBron is definitely the greatest recruiter of all time.
My man, Ashik gets the point, man. He gets the point.
All right. Yeah. Let's head into the final. And so we have a lot of top scorers in this tournament, like playing this final. People with 4 goals, people with 5 goals. Who do you think, Farouk, is going to finish the top scorer?
uh,
It could go either way.
I think Mbappe, man. I think Mbappe is gonna get it. I think
Hmm.
Mbappe. I think Mbappe is because I feel like Messi is gonna be more of a creative hub. than the goal scorer himself, unless like he has to put some magic out of like the goal against Mexico or something like that. Well, I think Mbappe, because Mbappe is the primary like goal source for France. But like you can say the same for Argentina and Messi as well. Although like that might sound weird, but like I feel like he might be looking more to be a bit more creative. Like uh, but then again, that's the thing. Like Messi is a man on a mission, and he's played like a man on a mission, honestly. So maybe he's just he might take the game by the scruff of the neck. But I will say Kylian Mbappe, and my heart just goes to Kylian Mbappe. But then
Okay.
that's the thing. I've been wrong in every single prediction I've made in this World Cup. So
Oh man, that hurts. Like Sunaid and me are so not looking forward to Messi will like lifting the World Cup.
my man, I'm gonna say this honestly. Other than Real Madrid fans and Cristiano Ronaldo fans, every single football fan in the world wants Messi to win the World Cup. And even if the case was reversed with Cristiano, other than Messi fans and Barcelona fans, every single fan in the world will want Cristiano to win the World Cup. Because why? I believe that if you're a fan of football, you're a fan of football first before you're a fan of either of these people. And like you are able to appreciate the fact of what both Messi and Cristiano has contributed, especially for people in our age group. Because honestly, like I can come and start talking about Pele and Diego Maradona, and I mean I didn't see this guy. Even Ronaldo Nazario, I didn't see him. You understand? So I can come and start, commenting. Obviously, okay, we've seen footages, but like, we've been in situations, like be it the game where Messi scored four against Arsenal, be it the game where, Ronaldo, for example, the game where Ronaldo scores three against Sweden, single-handedly taking Portugal to the World Cup, be it the game where Ronaldo literally brings us back from the brink of death, against Wolfsburg in the Champions League, be it the goal against Juventus at the Juventus Stadium, be it the performances of Messi at the Bernabeu, be it those hot heated clashes between Real Madrid and Barcelona, during the Mourinho era, be the three-peat of Zidane, spearheaded by Cristiano. So I mean, we've felt the emotions, So I can't come and start saying, oh no. So I feel like because of what they have done for us, we will want them to win this, be it Cristiano, be it Messi, honestly. Whoever was in the final, I feel like a lot of football fans are gonna, cheer for them. But I totally get where you and Sunaid are coming from about, the Messi thing. As I said, like Real Madrid fans and Cristiano fans are the first two people who will, are the first two, are on the forefront of cheerleading for France. I can really see that. But I personally would not feel bad if Messi was to win because honestly, he has deserved this. And I've said before, like for me personally, both Cristiano and both Messi don't have anything to prove to anyone, World Cup or no World Cup, honestly. So, I mean, if Messi wins the World Cup, it doesn't change anything for me. That's it. I personally, it doesn't change the way I see Messi, or if he loses in the final, it still doesn't change how I look at Messi as well. So that's the thing, honestly. Like Messi is goated, Ronaldo is goated as well. So these two guys, can do whatever it is they want to do. But whether they win, they don't win, it is what it is. Well, I mean, in my opinion, this game is a game that has a lot of Ballon d'Or battle there because I feel like whoever wins between Mbappe and Messi is going to be the front runner for the Ballon d'Or. You have the what's it called, player of the tournament. I feel like who wins between Messi and Mbappe is going to be player of the tournament. You have the golden boot race as well, and then you have the battle of the Qataris as well, now, because the point is, Mbappe has a 2-year contract with PSG. Messi has one more year left on his contract. I think this is his final season actually. So that's also something uh, that was going to be there as well. What's going to happen eventually with the final, and are they going to be able to motivate themselves once more to go back to Paris and eventually play to win the UCL and what is also, yeah, man, it's a game that has a lot of playing, a lot of subplots, but I still think that Messi is a man on a mission. I think Messi is man on a mission, and honestly, I don't know what's gonna go on, but as I
Exactly.
said,
Like,
man, what
okay, I'll give you a scenario, Farooq. Like, let's say the game is decided by a Chow many screamer, and then that's the only goal in the game. So Mbappe and Messi both finished with 5 goals. Who do you think wins the Ballon d'Or here?
I think Kylian Mbappe wins the Ballon d'Or because he won the World Cup.
Uh, I mean, this year, like it has been Messi's year, man. He has been playing like crazy. Like I feel like even better than Mbappe. And yeah, that's the sad thing. Like that just doesn't come into a factor when you have a World Cup.
Because that's the downside is because like they're teammates at the top, right? So eventually, like Mbappe is gonna have most likely more goals than Messi. Messi is gonna have more assists and maybe more influential performances and what is not. But they're gonna have the same amount of trophies. What's gonna be the outlier? It's gonna be the World Cup. So I think that's the way it's gonna flow. So that's why I say like I personally believe whoever wins the. I mean, unless we have another Benzema-like performance from one of the players in the Champions League as well, I don't think there's gonna be any doubt about. So I think the World Cup winner is gonna win the World Cup, especially on the back of such performances from both Messi and Kylian Mbappe. So yeah.
Absolutely. Hmm. I mean, did you catch some of the post-match quotes that the lady Argentina interviewer asked Messi? She was like, "Oh, like you don't have to prove anything. Like all of us Argentinians are with you. Like your biggest achievement has been that every single kid in Argentina has been wearing a Messi shirt for so long, and you don't have to prove anything to us. So just enjoy the World Cup." That's exactly like what Messi intends to do, man. So, like you said, he's a man on a mission. Let's just hope we get to see an entertaining game, like you always say.
So that's been actually, I think the game is going to be a very cagey affair in my opinion. Because I think like Scaloni is going to employ most likely a player at the back, a low block, already Didier Deschamps plays a low block as well. So I feel like it's because I think I don't know maybe Scaloni employs a 4-4-3-3 as well again or 4-5-1. I don't know, but I just feel like he's going to try to negate the impact of Kylian Mbappe, and Ousmane Dembele on the wings, and that's the way he's going to try to push, with three center backs and see how it works out back there. But I don't know. Let's see. I hope it's a really open and exciting game. Maybe not open, but at least an exciting game, to watch. I really hope it is so. But I'm really looking forward, to those battles. For example, how it's gonna be Messi against, the Chouameni. I think this guy should be back as well. Andre Rabiot should be back. So I think it's gonna be, the 10 Messi against, double pivot of Chouameni, and that space in between Chouameni, Rabiot, and the center backs. That's where Messi operates. So I think it's going to be a very interesting battle in that operate in that zone as well. And I'm also looking forward to how Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele, battle both Acuna and what's he called? What was the name of the other fullback for Argentina? I forgot. I actually
I love
forgot his
that.
name anyway. So I think that's going to be very interesting. The wing backs and those two very tricky and pacey wingers. Because honestly, I feel like people might sleep on Ousmane Dembele, and he might be the match winner for France.
Mm.
Honestly, I feel like people might sleep on him. And okay, he might not score the goal, but like he might create havoc such that either Giroud or Mbappe or Griezmann, benefits from it. Because one thing I would say about Ousmane Dembele is that I believe he's a really talented player, but his decision making is not been very good. Honestly, his decision making is not been very good, but he creates havoc. That's one thing we can never take away from him. He literally creates danger always. We can never take that away from him. So yeah, there is that as well.
Yeah, but I wanted to discuss it. Like, let's just try to analyze each position and compare the two teams. So in defense, like obviously France edges Argentina, right? Like France has a really good defense. So do you feel like that's going to be a major factor in this final?
Definitely, I think it's gonna be because I feel like the defense of but actually we don't know what's gonna happen. We're reading the reports where that like Upamecano, Varane, these guys are all ill, and somehow I don't know if they're gonna be able. I think they would be able to make it eventually, but I don't know. But I read something earlier today that was saying like they were all ill. But I feel like a center back pairing of Upamecano and what's it called and Varane have what it takes, to negate to negate the impact of the likes of Julian Alvarez. But the thing is like Messi is always an enigma. You never can tell. Like there's nothing that can stop what he has to offer, honestly. And we also have Enzo Fernandez with the late runs into the box as well. So that's also something that they will have to keep an eye out on. And especially when you consider, like Theo Hernandez is a very not, very not a very astute defender as well, which is why they play Jules Koundé so that Theo goes up, and then like they have a back three, which is like Koundé and the two center backs staying behind so they can, at least spread her out and be able to negate whatever counter attack effect that comes towards their side. So I think, yeah, this might be something that we'll look up to. But while you say like, France has a very strong center back pairing, I actually feel like, Argentina has a more rugged, I would say, more streetwise and more street man like, center back pairing. And sometimes that's the thing, like you need this kind of, characters actually to win out games. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Like you need this. For example, I mean, when you look at someone like Romero or like, Otamendi or even Martinez from United, like these are players that, they're obviously they are talents there, but they're more, I don't know, aggression than talent. Obviously, I'm not saying taking anything away from their talent, but like they're more about aggression than actually talent. You understand? But when you check on the other hand, for example, someone like Varane, the aggression is so less from Varane that he's more about reading the game, recovering, and all these things actually. So yeah, that's the thing honestly. So it's just a 50-50 thing.
Mm. And Ashik also points out there's a rumor saying that Tchouaméni is also injured. So who would be like the holding midfield of France in that situation?
It's gonna be. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna recover. I don't know because it's like they got sick or like it's not like they had something. They got injured or something like that. I think they got sick. But I don't know. Like if he doesn't play, it's gonna be Yusuf Fofana and I don't know. There's Matteo Gundozi. There's also our boy. Kamavinga. But I don't know. But what it looks like is it's Yusuf Fofana and Rabiot will play, but I doubt that they're all gonna miss it.
Feel like if you're just gonna have Rabiot and Fofana, they're gonna get like easily overrun, right? Like maybe Guendouzi is like a bit safer option, but Deschamps seems to trust him more than Camavinga, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. That's. But I think because these guys get to play a lot for their teams, and really, like Kamavinga hasn't gotten, that starting spot at Real yet. So I think that might be one of the reasons why. And also it's easier for him to scout from Ligue 1 as also because he's seeing what these players are doing. So
Yep. Okay, and let's say it goes to extra time and it's a nil-nil. Do you feel like France has the edge here because of all their substitutions and options off the bench?
oh, so the thing is this: these guys' is option off the bench. Argentina's option off the bench is the likes of what are they called? The likes of Di Maria, the likes of Paulo Dybala, the likes of Lautaro Martinez. In attacking sense. And for France, the options of the bench is more about speed and trickery, the likes of Kolo Muani, the likes of Thuram. So, and honestly, like I wouldn't bet a lot on the likes of Dybala and Di Maria because like they're all injured and coming back from injury, and we've seen with Lautaro Martinez that he's really prolificate. I mean, while on paper, Di Maria, Lautaro, and Dybala will be stronger than Kolo Muani and Thuram and Koman. I mean, the format the World Cup says otherwise, unfortunately. So I would side with France eventually seeing this through also, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, like, what if it goes to penalties? And Ashik already has an answer. If it goes to shootout, then it's hands down advantage Argentina. Do you agree, Farooq?
If it goes to penalties, Emi Martinez isn't beaten, man. The man, Emi Martinez, man. I don't know, man, honestly. But then that's the thing, that's the thing, like you always have that. How should I say? Like you always have that. I don't know, this. They have this saying of 99 days for the thief and 1 day for the owner. You're just so good that you start to believe your own hype that eventually shit just comes, shit hits the fan and it starts to rain shit. So
Yeah.
I can see that. But
It's kind
I
of like
wouldn't bet
manifesting your fate.
exactly. I wouldn't bet but I wouldn't bet a single cent on Loris saving any penalties, man.
Fair enough. So, have you been impressed with this? Like, he hasn't had much to do with this tournament at all. Like, but in the times that he has to deal with, he hasn't made any mistakes. He doesn't come out into the box to clear stuff. But his saves
Yeah,
have been pretty good. And but although like Romero definitely has the more experience and the edge in a penalty shootout.
definitely. I think yeah, I agree with you actually. Like, Loris hasn't been bad. Like as you said, he hasn't had much to do in the whole tournament, honestly. Like because we've seen like what's he called? Emi Martinez had actually even more things to do because we could see in the even in the game against Australia, he had to make saves, and what's there and what is not. So and also Emi Martinez has that, penalty saving acumen. I mean, it's been there for a long time, since even the FA Cup victory with Arsenal, the Copa America victory with Argentina, even at this tournament as well, he saved penalties. So yeah, I would say definitely like Martinez has the edge when it comes to penalties and hence Argentina.
All right. Do you have any other thoughts on the final, or should we head right into the predictions?
I hope it's not a cagey game. Honestly, I really do hope it's a cagey game. And I'm also very keen to see how it plays out, the game between uh let's say Chouameni, maybe it's Chouameni and Fofana or Chouameni and Rabiot or whatever the combination is against the likes of DePaul and Alexis McAllister. And that's also another thing, like Alexis McAllister has quietly had himself a good tournament as well, actually. So he plays for Brighton in England, actually. So he's a really solid player. So I mean, I hope we see a lot of interesting matchups, and I hope it's not a very very cagey affair. Let's just enjoy football for one last time before the club football comes back. And honestly, like also shout outs to the game in Qatar. I really wasn't expecting it to be this good, at least this exciting. Obviously, like we find it difficult to watch games because like sometimes you're at work or you're in the lab. You just have to be picking through something and be watching watching on and off. So yeah, there's that's the only downside. But honestly, like it's been a really really good. I mean, I think the 2010 World Cup was good, but I don't remember being that much excited and being glued like this World Cup. I don't know. Maybe I remember wrongly or something. Maybe it's just recency bias as well. But I mean, I really enjoyed this. Like whatever people say or choose to say or choose not to say about the World Cup and like thereof, it was a really for me personally, it was a really good tournament. I really enjoyed the games.
I would say 2010 was a very tactical and cagey affair. Like both of the finalists, they pretty much won 1-0 games throughout the tournament, including the group stage. And if you look at this World Cup's group stage, like that's what got me started watching matches, man. Because every day, like I started scrolling. I was like, I'm not going to watch the group stages anymore, like in
Exactly.
Qatar. And then like
Yeah.
the crazy results started coming in, and I was like, fuck, I'm missing
Exactly.
out on that.
Exactly right. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I felt like that Saudi Arabia Argentina game had a seismic effect, especially for me as well. Like, as you rightly pointing out, like when you feel like, okay, it's Saudi Arabia against Argentina, why should I watch it? Right. But after seeing that, we just started watching games, man, back to back. I mean, we were watching games that we had literally zero interest in. Well, because that's how, that's what the fun. Because, for example, if you weren't watching the games, how would you see the upset with Tunisia and France? How would you have seen the Cameroon and, what's it called? Cameroon and Brazil, the nil between the USA and England. It was just games after games. And, we were just, I mean, if there was any disappointment, I think Qatar was the disappointment of the tournament. They literally spent years and years training and trying to host this. And, they had just one goal and 0 points. It was so sad actually. Well, yeah, it is what it is, unfortunately.
Do you have any comments about how the fans were able to enjoy and just the stadium atmosphere? Like, I feel like it was pretty good, comparable to Brazil, maybe.
I mean, there was this problem though that although like there was a lot of noise in the stadium, but there were lots of empty seats, man.
Mm.
There were lots of empty seats, lots and lots of. I mean, it's so visible. Really. I mean, even Qatar, where like hosts were like even in some games the stadiums were empty. I mean, in the game against Croatia, Argentina, Croatia, they were still empty sets. And I'm like, Messi is 14 playing, guys. I mean, where are you? But obviously, like in the Morocco France game, we saw the stadium was jam packed, man. I mean, literally, you could not see even one single empty seat in the whole stadium, man. So that's the thing. So I mean, but I believe in the final we should see, full capacity and all that. But I mean, that's the only downside I would say honestly about the fans. But I mean, the atmosphere was really good. Really like be it from the USA fans, the English. Actually, people are saying because there was no alcohol in the stadiums, the English fans were on their best behavior and they became very good fans actually as well. Yeah, and those guys like the Europeans were really nice, and always like with the African fans, like the vibrance of the culture, and also we have the Japanese and the Korean fans as well. It was also really nice, and yeah, it's been a Cinderella tournament. Like with the giant slaying of Japan against the Spanish and the Germans. The Koreans also as well. So it's yeah, it's been. It's been a really good one so far, so good.
I'd like to take this opportunity to give a shout out to the cameramen also. Like they always know when to pan to the crowd and which hot lady to target in the crowd.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly. Actually, we used to watch. We were watching with these guys, and like they killing just South Americans. I don't know, man. Be it Ecuador, actually not just South Americans. Let's just say the people from America as a whole, because even the Mexicans and the Brazilians and the Argentinians and like and when like the cameraman pans to like a European lady, they're like no, and then like it goes to like South American and like
Yeah,
you know exactly like it was like a huge cheer, like it's a goal that was scored or something like that. Yeah, man. I mean that's the thing, man. Boys will be boys, man. What can we say?
it was a very fun atmosphere. But unless you have any other things to note, you want to go into the predictions?
As I said, man, whatever I predicted at this World Cup hasn't worked. So let's see, man. I don't know.
Mm. You want to go first?
Yeah, let's go first. Let's go first. It's it's gonna be, I think, a tight affair, which I really don't want. Like, I mean, it's gonna be a tight affair. It's gonna be a cagey and a very, like a game of chess. It's gonna be a very, very tactical affair. So because of that, I don't see too much goals. I think it's gonna end in a 2-1 victory. But for who? This is the question. I think it's gonna be 2-1. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's add drama and spice to this.
Should I do a
So
drum
it's
roll?
exactly, man. It's a Kylian Mbappe opener, right? And then one way or another, and like Alvarez equalizes, and Griezmann scores the winner.
All
So
right.
I'm 2-1 to France with
Yeah.
Griezmann as the match winner.
I'd like to say that too, but I actually have a bad feeling that Argentina is going to score off of a penalty because if you remember, like they've pretty much gotten easy penalties all throughout the tournament.
Exactly.
So they're really good at winning those penalties, and I feel like the France defenders are dumb enough to concede a really shitty one. I'm going to say first blood to Argentina, but then France are going to pull one back in the second half late on, and then it's going to go to extra time and on to penalties. That Argentina might just take the World Cup.
Oh, Martinez winning the World Cup for Argentina would be so, so iconic, though. Honestly, I really do think so. Like, he's been a really, really good servant of Argentina over the years. But yeah, man, I can totally see it going to PKs as well, but I really hope it doesn't. I hope it finishes either 90 or 120 because penalty is such a 50-50 locked in. I'd rather like people make their locks in the pitch. And yeah, as I said, hopefully like Griezmann gets the final arc of redemption because it's been a very tough couple of years for him, with the Barca Atletico garbage thing that went on. So I hope he gets the redemption that he deserves. Yeah. So I maintain my 2-1 victory for France with the Griezmann winner.
All right, and just being a Real Madrid fan, if Messi misses a PK in the final, do you see him retiring immediately?
Of course, definitely. Finally retires, man. He retires for sure. I think he
Yeah,
retires when he.
yeah, I think so
I
too.
think.
Like, I feel like he did say it's his last World Cup. Maybe he doesn't have it on himself if he gets like really bad press after his miss. So yeah, let's hope for the best.
So for the best in this, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
All right, there you have it, folks. We have our predictions, and then tune in to see maybe if we do a post match, or we'll start our Real Madrid coverage soon as well. Thanks for being with us, Ashik, throughout and keeping us company. Thanks for all the other viewers out there. If you're new, consider subscribing and consider hitting up our socials as well. Like you can ask us any questions. We have all sorts of good content from Yadu the man. And stay around for a fun time, guys. Hit that subscribe button, and that's it. Do you think I missed anything from the housekeeping, Faro? Or is that it?
Nah, just Real Madrid committee guys, and
Yeah,
yeah,
shout out to them too. And all
the
right.
link down below. And on our way to 500 subscribers, like we had the goal of 1,000. What our chief technology officer Yadu said, let's be more realistic and let's be real, as our name goes there. be 500, he said. So yeah, let's hope, the road to 500 subscribers. We still have around 14 days before the year ends. So guys, tell your friends of your friends of your friends. Ashik, man, just do something for us, man. Just tell your friends and your friends and their friends' friends. Let's get this done. Let's get this done.
Don't even
Right
tell
there.
them, like, just go out stealing phones, just hit subscribe and give it back to them.
Exactly. That's also something. That's also something.
All right.
Okay, I guess that's a wrap. And with this, we can just call it a day. And it's Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid, Farouk. Hala Madrid.